millions of vulnerable Americans struggle to get reliable transportation to their medical appointments. That's why I started MedHall. Citi launched the Impact Fund to invest in both women and entrepreneurs of color like me so I can realize my vision and give everything I've got to my company and my community. I got you.
For the love of people, for the love of community, for the love of progress. Citi.
Hey everyone, welcome to PaleyFest New York. I'm Damian Holbrook, senior writer for TV Guide magazine, and I am delighted to be your host for this special conversation honoring Gossip Girl, the new HBO Max hit, thanks to PaleyFest official card and official sponsor Citi for helping make the event possible. Today we are thrilled to welcome the members of the series' gifted cast. Joining us are Joshua Safran, writer, executive producer, and showrunner of the series, Jordan Alexander, who plays Julian Calloway, Eli Brown, who plays Otto Obi Bergman IV, Thomas Doherty, who plays Max Wolf, Zión Moreno, who plays Luna La, Savannah Lee Smith, who plays Monet Dahan, and Evan Mack, who plays Aquino Aki Menzies. You guys, welcome to our special guests, and welcome to everyone watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the Paley Center's YouTube channel at the link below. Congratulations, guys. You did it. Josh, let's talk about this first. You cut your teeth on the original Gossip Girl.
I did.
What possessed you to go back to this world?
I've never left this world. I grew up in this world. So it's not really a going back to this world. It's like I can't escape it. So I think what possessed me was Josh and Stephanie came to me and said that they were thinking about doing a new version, but they would only do it if I wanted to do it with them. And if not, we would just not try, basically. And I came up with an idea that I couldn't let go of. And I don't know, I love this world. I also hate it. I mean, again, it's all those things. I don't mean the world of Gossip Girl. I mean the world that Gossip Girl is set in. So it calls to me regardless of what I'm doing.
And you are very, very smart to take a very well-known and iconic property and not give us a carbon copy, a cookie cutter version of the original version. You definitely brought it into the times. It's a very of its time show. And it also feels like this one, more than the original, which I also covered, this has more to say about what's going on in society.
Yeah, I mean, I think, in the early aughts or whatever, mid-aughts, I guess, we really were enjoying sort of like, travel porn and, luxury porn and all of that stuff. And we still enjoy that, but we are definitely interrogating it as a culture much more now. And I felt like the only way to do the show would be to interrogate that as well, just like people are in life.
It feels like literally elevated, an elevated version of that, because it seems every one of these characters lives above the 30th floor in a building.
Yes, it is literally elevated. Yes.
All of their window views are like really high up.
Well, technically, I guess Max doesn't. Max lives in a brownstone. So yeah. I think he's probably the only one. But yes, everyone else.
I don't think
Obi's on the third floor. Obi's on the third floor, but he has the whole building. So.
Right, he has the whole building. So, Gossip Girl, people hear it, they know these characters, it's a very specific world. How did you go about creating new characters that fit in that society, that space, but without finding new shades of these teens?
Honestly, I came up with sort of the worlds first, meaning I was curious about sort of what makes up New York City today in terms of where people come from, and what they are doing there. It's a lot of finance. It's shifted since the aughts when it was a little bit different. Obviously, a major influx of cash is coming to New York, and New York is sort of like, it's not all Americans. It's a lot of people from, other parts of the world who send their kids to school in New York, and we represent that in the show as well. So I started with the worlds, and then I built the characters out of the world. So whether it was like real estate, music, just basically I just came up with those concepts and then found the characters. I don't know how to explain characters, just like I think a lot of creators will tell you, they just sort of come to you and then you start chasing them after a certain point. That's what happened here. So, and
it's got to be so daunting to know, okay, now I have to cast these people. Now I have to. Did you feel like, okay, we did it right? They were invited to the Met Gala.
I mean, of course they're going to be invited to the Met Gala. Look at them. They're amazing. And they're, inspiring people. I mean, Cassandra Kalakundis, my casting director, is also a really great friend of mine. She casts all of Paul Thomas Anderson's movies. Like you put your faith into a person like that to understand. Cassandra works as not just a casting director, but almost like a producer. She reads everything and takes it all in and finds you what you're looking for that isn't necessarily directly what's on the page. And I think she works this way also, with Paul. It's like, and then she's like, I think I found someone who's the essence of this character, but it may be not exactly how you wrote it. And then you start to shift and mold around the actors, because these actors are incredible and they bring so much to the characters, and you work with them to find it. So casting, again, I could take no credit for that. These actors came to me, they were incredible. And we were like, absolutely. It wasn't like, hey, can you do this thing and fit into this box? It's like they came and the box became whatever they brought to it. So with them and Cassandra, it's just like a dream come true.
That's okay. So that's what I wanted to say. Like when I watched the pilot, I was like, all of these actors are so interesting to watch. They're making decisions. Like I'm watching them on the screen and like they're going to places emotionally. They're making choices on screen that I was like, this feels so new. This feels like a generation that did grow up in a different environment. And so I want to talk to the actors. How many of you, raise your hand, how many of you were terrified of taking on a reboot or an update of something like Gossip Girl?
It was my...
I
was my second
I was
time
afraid
doing
to.
it.
I was afraid to. I was terrified. The fans are cutthroat and crazy, and they're very protective over Gossip Girl.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I was nervous, but I was more excited than scared.
Right. And Eli, you said this is your second time doing it?
Yeah, it's my second time like participating in a reboot, or in this case, Josh, a continuation.
A continuation, Eli. And Eli was just nervous.
I know, I corrected myself, but it's my second time kind of, stepping into this very iconic, zeitgeisty sort of show that had existed previously. And so I was kind of, in a sense, already prepared for that. But I think, in both instances, there is a sense of pressure to live up to the original and to kind of carry that torch onward. But I also think that there's a tremendous sense of relief, like you're like, this thing will work.
Right.
People will like it. You already have a built-in audience. So it's kind of a double-edged sword.
So Jordan, one of the first faces that we see, like they announce, this is going to be, one of our Gossip Girl kids, fresh face for the most part. How daunting was it to be, put out there first to see like, this is what Gossip Girl could look like now?
Well, I was just, I was excited. I felt like it was a really amazing opportunity, and I kind of like stepping into the unknown and like, not sure if it's a cliff or if it's a bridge, things like that. I actually really thrive in those types of situations. So I feel like the Gossip Girl new era was very exciting for me and a good thing.
I have to say, as this is like the question of my whole day that I want to know, how do you humanize an influencer? Because honestly, like everyone's experience with an influencer is through all of these filters.
Right. Well, I've known a couple influencers, like closely to the point where you get past the veneer and past the checking to make sure the selfie looks absolutely perfect. And I think that essentially everyone does that to some degree. You have some stake in the game of how people perceive you. And, some people take it to a certain level and other people don't. But at the end of the day, everybody's just trying to be loved. And so I feel like that's where you can humanize people for how they're different from you.
And in just 6 episodes, we really did see, because I think early on, all we see is what the posts look like and how they're being staged. In that final episode of the first 6 batch, we really got to see how very capable Julian is in marketing, branding, knowing what her messaging is and holding her own space, which I thought was really impressive. And I love the fact that the dad was there to witness it. Yeah. But then there's the whole sister stuff. She wasn't great to start. She wasn't great, but what was more fun for you, playing the Julian versus Zoya or Julian ally with Zoya?
Definitely Julian allied with Zoya. I love Whitney Peak, and even pretending to be mean to her was like horrifying. I like broke a spoon on the day that we had to do that birthday scene. Like I was just like, stressed. But yeah, I definitely always prefer to be on the side with Zoya, but I know that it's entertaining and fun when people fight. Even when my sisters fight, I'm kind of sitting there like, ha, ha, ha.
Well, I was kind of heartbroken with the birthday and the fashion show. I was like, oh man, this is going sideways, and they were getting so close to like getting this right.
I know, right?
All right, so now Eli, again, we'll go back to you have dealt with shows about privileged teens with secrets. The first group was really a lot more dangerous. But what was it taking your character? Like, how did you approach Obi and make sure that he wasn't so close to Dylan? Because they are, from the same worlds almost.
Well, they are very much from the same worlds. And I think actually in many ways they are very similar. Like Perfectionist was my first job, and I didn't really realize that I was trying out for that. So I kind of just came into the audition just being myself essentially, and I feel like there were a lot of aspects of Dylan that were just me. And then with Gossip Girl, I didn't mean to do this, but then I ended up having a meeting with the entire writer's room, including Josh, where they basically just said, "Who are you?" and took all these notes to kind of, like Josh was saying, rather than make the character or the actor fit the character, kind of make the character fit the actor. And so I think that there are a lot of aspects of Obi that are, kind of parallel with myself. So I think in that sense, they're pretty similar, but I mean, they are two completely different shows, and they've been two entirely different experiences.
Well, that's the great thing about this being on HBO Max and the streaming world, allowing this show and this story to really, and that's the thing, like, I know a lot of people focused early on like the marketing and like, oh, these three characters doing this together and all this. And that's a great hook. But I feel like once we got past that, the gloss of the marketing promotion, we really started to see these characters as human beings and as people who are like really trying to find a place in a very difficult situation, because they all have pressures on them that a lot of people can't understand. Jordan, what is it about Obi that she can't get out of her head?
I feel like it's this nostalgic feeling. When you're with someone for a very long time, I think it's hard to even imagine your life without them, because all of these huge firsts happened with this person and you're just very attached. And I think that Obi and Julian are also friends. Like, they share a friend group. They're not just a couple outside of things. Like, they have a lot of intersecting ways that they have relationships, not just their dating relationship. So I also feel like Julian doesn't really like to rock the boat because, she's very concerned with how things look. And, definitely losing your Prince Charming is not how she wanted that to come off. So,
Josh, what can you tell us about where these two and Zoya might be headed?
Well, I think the first 6 episodes really are setting the table, and now it's set and we can just be at this great dinner together. The back 6 are, I don't know, a lot twistier, a lot more happens. It's sort of like, it's a slow moving car crash. So I don't want to give too much away, but there's a lot that happens.
All right, because there was a phone call in the finale.
Yes.
I was like, wait, that's not who I expected him to tell him to stay away.
Yes. Well, just you wait. The next episode, the mid-season premiere, has every single member of our cast and a few more people around a dinner table for what was 15 pages. It's like 20 minutes. And you're going to see a lot of shit at the fan. Am I allowed to curse?
I still can't believe we pulled that off in one day.
I can't believe it either. I can't believe it. It was
really
insane. It was the most page count apparently HBO has ever done in one day. I directed it, Damian. So I was like, when I hear that I can't do something, I'm going to do it. And so that was hilarious. I just went for it. And the cast was amazing. They had to sit around this table for 12 hours, not moving. I feel so bad for you guys still, but it was pretty incredible.
I fell asleep.
I was going to ask later on, how many of you have fallen asleep on the Dumbo Hall set?
No, I fell asleep at the dinner. John Benjamin Hickey woke me up, and I was like, oh. And then
I've fallen asleep on every set.
Evan falls asleep everywhere. I always say Evan's like a cat. He's just like.
All right, so let's talk about Evan Mack. Evan, this is your first professional credit on screen. Eli, you've been there. How has it been?
I feel really blessed to be able to be surrounded such other great actors and actresses, and it's just like nice to come into a new world that I have no idea what to expect at all. So it's just been nice to have people around you that support you and instill that confidence in you that that you didn't know you had. So I really am actually thankful for everyone around and everyone in production that has made me feel able to step into a new world.
Were you surprised at where Aki went in only 6 episodes? Because it's, that's a lot of development for a guy who, we meet him, he's a great skateboarder, and the next thing you know, he's sharing scenes with Malcolm McDowell and basically announcing on TV that he's bisexual.
No, I mean, it's crazy. It's something you can't script, like no pun intended, but like it was just somewhere that I never thought I would go. And it was like such a surreal experience. But more importantly, I was just like super honored and blessed to like just learn from him and just see how he operates. And like, it was just cool to like hear some, tips and pointers from him. So it was like really an eye-opening experience. And I'm just trying to soak everything I learned from the veterans. So. Yeah.
And you share so many scenes with Thomas. How has that been kind of formulating this chemistry? I mean, these guys, I ship them.
No, it's cool.
I think that's why Evan took the job.
After episode 3, we just said we should just take it to the real life and just make out when we see each other and not handshake anymore.
Why waste time?
Why waste time? Straight to the chase.
Now, Thomas, this was a character, and I'll be like, when we again first meet him, I was not ready for the amount of emotional growth he made in the first 6 episodes. This was a character who could have gone the first season just being the snide, fashionable, kind of like slut. The guy who like wants a teacher and gets a teacher. Okay. But then we find all these layers to him. Were you told up up front that this character had so much damage going on?
Yeah, I mean, Josh definitely spoke to me about it, and kind of we discussed his evolution and what would happen. And I made the decision.
He went to the writer's room too. They shaped the character around Thomas.
No, I one thing that I really loved about Max, and I made a decision to kind of, when he's almost like Max playing Max when he's with people, but then there's a really nice opportunity when he was around different people, like his dad, to kind of show that real 17-year-old, that vulnerability that he has. And yeah, Josh spiced it up with drugs. So yeah, it was really fun, and kind of the confusion of being in love with 2 different people who are also in a relationship. So yeah, I was really lucky to be able to play Max. I am very lucky.
It was so nice to see his vulnerability so early on, because it did give the viewers, I think, that chance to connect with him on a level beyond like, oh, he's really cool.
You said it.
Yeah. Okay. And now, speaking of the really cool, so Zion and Savannah. So these could have been the minions, like the minions that are just like kind of in the background, and they, they just show up. But I have loved the slow burn development of these 2 women. They absolutely crack me up. Zion, you get these like I call them mini logs. They're just like these incredible run-on sentences stuffed with pop culture references, but also like very astute content information. How, when you get a script, you look at it and be like, I'm not going to be able to breathe during this entire thing.
Look, Luna has taught me a lot. Most of the time, I have no idea what she's saying. I have to like look everything up, how to pronounce things. Sometimes I try to pronounce them in the way that they're supposed to be pronounced in that language, but then I'm not supposed to say it that way because it's like not how New Yorkers pronounce it. So she's just like a confusing puzzle for me overall, but it has been so much fun. And whenever I'm on set and I'm actually delivering those mini logs, as you said, it's really fun. Yeah, like I feel like I'm gonna pass out, but I don't know. It's great. It's great fun.
They're amazing.
Zion and Luna are not that different in my eyes. I feel like Zion and Luna are one and the same, which is
okay. I resent that. I resent that.
But it's great because they had these great like buttons at the very end where it's like all this stuff and then like a quick burn. Like just a quick little jab where like you forget like, oh, she's being really nice to Zoya. And then she ends it with like some kind of comment about like a dollar store outfit or something. It's brilliant. I love this guy. I'm cracked and I want to see what her life is outside of this group. Like I want to see like where she goes at home. I feel like she has like a wall of photos of people that she just like X's off.
She like snaps her fingers in a Z formation without her even having to snap them. She just says
exactly.
Like,
other people
saw that.
Her. Yeah.
Like I feel like I would want to go to the Halloween party as Luna and Monet. Like that's the couple that people should be dressing up as. And Monet, this again, like
I agree.
Like if Luna is like the comedy part, like I feel like Monet is the business of the Julie Calloway industry. She's smart as hell, and I love because I get very invested in these characters. I love that she put her foot down because it's like, this is the deal we've made. This is what we're going to do. And when Julian started to like step out of that, Monet was like, no, this is not okay. And then she vanishes. What is happening? Like, did Julian have her killed?
What is happening is what I asked myself in the script too. It's very intense. But yeah, I think Luna is kind of like, we're both kind of the bitch, but she's definitely more comedic and more bright. And I think Monet is very dark and intense. And I think it comes from like, she's so dedicated to herself and her career. So it pisses her off when Julian doesn't do what she tells her to do.
Yeah, and I'm like, and I agreed with her. I have to ask, the fashion show outfit?
Yeah.
Purple rain.
Who else was in that with you?
It's a thing among this cast. Thomas called me a football player once in a Prince costume. I was giving Purple Rain. I felt it was a power suit. Right?
Period.
It was so big. I was like, the original cast is actually in that suit. That's how they got them all on the show.
Yeah.
Listen, it's hard to pull that off.
Yeah.
And she did.
It made
And
my
he's such a good sport.
Honestly,
Yeah.
she looked amazing. And my favorite part was the little purse that came with it.
tiny little
Tiny
macaroni.
little cute.
So Damian, that outfit was Christopher John Rogers as well, who did whose show we did.
Right.
And so both Zion and Savannah were in Christopher John Rogers looks from a previous season,
Nice.
which Monet and Luna would do because they would know if you go to the Christopher John Rogers show, you wear Christopher John Rogers. They are ambassadors as well. So it was all of a piece.
I love it. It's like wearing the T-shirt to the concert. So let's talk about you did this show and you've had so much fun kind of like slipping in real New York things, going to the theater, like having actual, where have you guys gotten to film that you just couldn't believe you were working?
The Plaza Hotel was pretty sick.
Plaza Hotel for a couple of days was insane.
Yeah, it was Webster Hall
Public
was
Theater.
sick as well.
Yeah.
Steiner Studios.
Yeah.
Actually, though, that is like sick, like filming in Steiner Studios.
It is.
No, but seriously, out of all the stages in New York, Steiner is a lovely, because you're on the water. You have like,
and you are,
Evan can skateboard around. You know,
you're so famous as well.
This is not the original studio, right?
No, we were at Silver Cup initially, Silver Cup Main. Now we are both at Silver Cup East and Steiner. We have stages all over the city because the show's too big to fit in one place.
Yeah. How many of you have learned how to skateboard from Evan?
Me and Thomas are still waiting on our knee pads and elbow pads to show up.
We're gonna turn up when Evan's
we're gonna go embarrass the shit out of Evan.
Friends.
I should just post like a cast.
Oh, COVID shipping's gonna take too long for your knee pads.
We're gonna be like,
hey, we get it.
So, Evan, Aki, you are giving us bi representation, you are giving us Asian representation, you are giving us a skateboard culture representation, and you're also, this is a character who looks so sympathetic, like he always looks a little scared. What is his new source of power going to be now that he's out?
He's finding out what he wants to do. He's a young kid. He's in high school. We got to figure this out. I don't have anything figured out. I'm 24 years old. I graduated. Well, actually, I didn't even graduate high school. So I still haven't had things figured out. So
right. All right. So Josh, tell me this. Where do we see Monet and Luna heading in the second part of the season? Because you've primed the pump. You've, like, as you said, you set the table, but like, when are these two like going to be not behind Julian as much as next to them?
Well, it's coming. There are some unforeseen, I think it probably would have come sooner, but there's a sort of a big speed bump coming, which sort of changes the trajectory for everybody. So I think it's like the kind of thing of like, you throw a deck of cards up in the air and then they land in all over the place. That's about to happen. So once we sort of get through that, I think the question you were asking is going to be answered in a very intriguing way. And that's all I can say. I can say that I very much enjoyed watching Savannah shoot Monet's last scene of the season 1 finale. It was one of my most favorite things of all time. And I think that the audience, part of the answer of what you just asked is in that scene. And I'm just going to leave it at that. Savannah, don't say anything.
Okay. All right. And these are kids that all grew up together. And I feel like the hospital scene at the end of the hospital episode where we find out about Audrey's mother, where they all show up and they do the group hug. I felt like that was the first time that we actually saw these kids as kids who have been lifelong friends. This was the first time they really came together on an emotional level to support one another. How is that does that now open the door for you to play with different pairings just to like put them in scene stuff? Like, would we see Max just having a conversation with Luna?
So it's funny that you say that. I was about to say Max and Luna actually have a lot together coming up. I think it's really important to note that when Monet was like, Julian, you didn't do what you were supposed to do in that episode, in episode 5. And she sort of was like, I'm going to go find someone who will. Luna is like, no, actually, I believe in Julian. And she stood her ground against Monet. So I feel like that you're going to see more of sort of also Luna, what her connection is to that group. Because in that hospital moment, Monet's not there. Everyone else is there for Audrey, but not Monet, because like Savannah said, Monet thinks for Monet. Like that's her thing. Whereas I think Luna actually does. Luna thinks for Luna, but also takes into account everybody else. So Max and Luna have so much coming up. And I think their friendship, relationship, I don't even know what you want to call it, is something fans are going to really love. And some of my favorite scenes is watching the two of them together. And there's a lot of it. So it's coming.
We saw in the mid-season finale, like Obi reacting to Aki's coming out. Obi was it seemed very hurt.
That is a story that you will see play out. Yes. You picked up on that very well. It continues. We have a lot of queer representation in the writer's room, and people, I think, tend to think in this day and age that coming out is easier because, gay rights and all, but it's actually not easier. you're coming out as a difficult process, no matter what the world is, because it's happening inside you and your body. It's not happening in the world. And so it is always met in ways you don't expect. One person you think is going to be great isn't great. The person you think isn't going to be great is great. And I just think that's a story that we are telling, and we're telling it through Aki and Obi.
Obi is the one who's, he's our protest sign. Obi is our
conscience. The conscience.
Yes. When is he going to get a couple dings in the armor?
Oh, wow. He gets a lot of dings in the armor. I think it's a bunch of dings from here on out. Right, Eli, would you say?
Nothing but.
Nothing but. Okay. This question comes from the festival sponsor, Citi. What has been the most surprising or gratifying reaction from the fans?
I just think for me personally, it's that seeing how much support and I'm getting from young Black queer girls. They really appreciate the representation, and to be able to do something like that is more than fulfilling. So I think, Josh for making that happen. But yeah, just seeing that online and seeing how they react to that and how happy it makes people to see themselves represented really, really lights me up.
Yeah, they've been fine. They've been excited.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I've just been really grateful for the amount of love that especially Monet and Luna have gotten from the fans. Like, they're always requesting more from us, and I've read fan fictions of us. Like, people are just obsessed with the two of us, which has been really, really gratifying. And also, I get a lot of people DMing me, a lot of Mexican individuals saying how cool it is to see someone Mexican in the Upper East Side world, because they were such fans of the OG Gigi. And I just think it's really cool, to have that Latino representation as well, and for it to be recognized and acknowledged.
Eli or Thomas?
I think Josh and the team did such an amazing job of kind of creating this world that's a lot more evolved, and it's at a different kind of level of consciousness in terms of socially and culturally. And to see that, but they did an amazing job of making it the norm, making it normal, and to see that it's just been accepted for what it is and for what it has been handed to the audience as, is actually really gratifying. And there's been so little, I've not personally seen any kickback.
This kind of sounds like an oxymoron, but I would just say that, I'm very grateful for, all these guys have expressed, I'm grateful for the gratitude that people have for the show. And I'm grateful to be a part of something that allows people all over to see themselves. Obviously, there's always room to be more inclusive, but I think that we're definitely taking a step in the right direction. And I think that that's very valuable to people right now, especially in this generation, and so that's been the most gratifying part for me, definitely.
Yeah, someone photoshopped their face onto my body, but so well that when I saw it,
I saw that. Yeah. It was at the gala, right?
But I was like, wait, why do I look slightly different? So that I'm really grateful for that.
Again, that is a sign that you guys have done it right. When people are willing to do the Photoshop and the fan fiction.
It's scary accurate. I'll share it in the group chat.
Can someone send it, please?
Yeah.
You haven't seen it? It's amazing.
And I have this terrifying idea that Thomas is getting all these DMs from teachers.
Oh God, it's okay because the teachers on our show are younger than this cast. No.
And by the way, though,
just kidding.
The video he leaks, that would never have flown on the CW.
No. We have fun. We have fun. Yeah, we have fun pushing the envelope, but again, only when it is actually character based. Meaning that the shock of that is because of it's supposed to be shocking. It's not shocking to be shocking.
When do you go back into production?
Just we start prep in December. We start shooting in mid-January.
Oh, so you guys get to do on-location filming in New York in January.
The good news, well, we did that already, actually, but unfortunately, we were shooting January. It wasn't me. It wasn't up to me, but we had to shoot. It just sucks. We were shooting fall in winter, and then we were shooting winter in summer, which was terrible for everybody because they were in all of these heavy coats and clothes. And Eric Damon, our costume designer, and Ava and Maddie, the assistant costume designers, had to work really hard to sort of find a way so that people weren't melting. But luckily, season 2 is second semester of the year. So actually, we're shooting January to July, a show that takes place January to May. So at least we'll be appropriately attired, guys, and you will not have to go through that again.
Yeah.
I was doing a scene with Evan and Emily, and I had to stop the scene because they were just looking at the sweat dripping down my face.
Oh my God.
Kenny was like, "No, we love that. You look like you're sweating. It looked."
What is the prom like at Constance Billard?
Well, yeah, it's going to be amazing. Yeah, my prom was at the Plaza, which is so funny because when we were shooting at the Plaza for episode 5, we were shooting in the room where my prom was, which is fascinating.
Plaza?
Right, like, who has a prom at the Plaza?
Horace Mann, I don't know what to tell you. So I went to Horace Mann. We had the prom at the Plaza. Nice. But our prom will have to do something bigger than that. No offense, Horace Mann.
Okay, so I need to wrap you guys soon, but I had suspicions that Obi's mom and Aki's dad had something going on. I feel like there's something there.
Well, I mean, Malcolm and Lynn are just so amazing. You just want to spend time with them all. You want them to have something going on just so you can hang out with them. I mean, that's my experience. I'm sure you guys feel the same way.
Hot, glamorous Europeans, they should be doing something.
But I also have to say, Lynn and Malcolm, as humans, are incredible. Everyone hangs out. Like, when they're on set, they go to dinner together, Malcolm, Lynn, and the cast. So I think what you're feeling is the chemistry of real life as well as the chemistry of the actors. But no, there is no romantic history between them. They are business. It's sort of like that thing where when you do business together like that, it is like a marriage. It is like a relationship. They are incredibly close. And that's why Aki and Obi are incredibly close. And you'll see more of them. Malcolm's back. Lynn is back. You're going to meet Obi's sister, who's played by Katherine Gallagher, Tony nominee from Jagged Little Pill. Katherine's amazing. There's just a lot of fun things coming up.
Okay. So. And speaking of chemistry, when you started to work with this beautiful cast and started to see how they worked together on screen, was that when you started to say, like, oh, we should put Evan in more scenes with this person, or oh, we should try them against this person?
No, these actors are incredible actors, so they make the chemistry that's in the script work. It hasn't been like that. I think the only thing, that I think also all the scripts were written with the exception of the finale when we started shooting season 1 because of COVID. We had this break, so they were all done. I think the only things that were slight adjustments were Savannah and Zion could handle those monologues. So I was just like, more monologues. Like I used to tell them, I'd come in and I'd be like, oh, I saw you could do that. So I've added 17 lines to what's coming up. So it was more that kind of stuff. It was more that kind of stuff. But other just small adjustments, but the scripts were done.
Mm-hmm. And for the actors, how many of you have just gotten tired of Instagram because it's such a big part of your job now?
I've never liked Instagram, so it made me hate it even more. Definitely.
I mean, I've definitely gotten tired of feeling like it's necessary. Like before, I was like, oh, Instagram, I'll just post it, whatever. And it wasn't really a thing, but now it feels like a thing,
Yeah.
That feeling.
Yeah.
Well, Savannah does TikTok so well too. Not that you don't do Instagram well, but I mean, Savannah's TikTok is just
I'm the resident TikToker because no one else here likes to admit that they go on TikTok and like TikTok.
Yep.
Except for Jordan. Sorry.
I'm just not good at it, so I just jump in on Savannah's.
Okay.
My TikTok is actually Aki's TikTok. Just when you see Aki's, I just revealed something. Well, later on you're going to see Aki's TikTok in the show, but I'm the one who has the handle, so I don't even think you know, Savannah, that I follow you from Aki's account.
I would have never done another TikTok.
I can't wait to see the TikTok.
So now I'm fully expecting a full TikTok performance from all of you from set one day.
Cinematic.
Yeah.
I feel like I tried to do that, but cool.
So, and Eli and Thomas, you're just like, no. Thomas just posts like these high fashion photo shoots, which are incredible.
Thomas is big on the TikTok scene.
No, I had to delete it, mate.
And Eli's Instagram is great because it's always great music-based stuff. I mean, the musicality of this cast, like, is also insane. Like, I wish we were making a musical because, well, Evan, I don't know about you, but everyone else is very musical. Yeah, okay.
I just eye closing the curtains.
That's right. He can run the soundboard. But would you consider like a musical episode?
No, don't even plant the seed.
No. Eli, you don't have to plant it. I'm not going to do it. So I will say in an upcoming season, of which we have not written yet, the writers were pitching a musical episode and I killed it. So just to be clear.
What about sending the kids on a vacation?
So every season of the original Gossip Girl, there was an episode outside of the city, and every season of this Gossip Girl, there will also be. So in season 1, because of COVID, we were supposed to go to a distant location, which we were unable to do. So instead, we do leave the city. It's a version of the Hamptons. I'm not going to say what it is, but it's not the Hamptons. And then in season 2, we will be leaving the country.
Ooh,
Scotland.
Madagascar.
Not Scotland, Thomas.
You want to use Transylvania?
Yeah.
Hey guys, this is why I am.
All right, so you guys, I want to thank you. First, I want to congratulate you because, again, as like an OG fan, I had concerns. You know, like we're very defensive and protective of, you know, the original, and we're being watched over by a tiny Serena Vanderwoodson back there. But you guys crushed it. I love this group. Like I said earlier, Josh, like such an interesting group of actors and characters that I really wanted to get to know. Like I want to know more about them. I want to get them out of the protest safely. I want to find out why Julian is the one that Aki needs to stay away from. I am fascinated by this because that was just a twist. Like what a weird twist that you just threw at us.
Oh, just you wait. It basically forms the backbone of the entire remainder of this season, if not the series.
Outstanding. Well, you guys, thank you again so much for everything. And thank you for joining us for this special Paley New York conversation with members from the wonderful cast of Gossip Girl. Thanks to Paley's official card and official sponsor, Citi. You can enjoy more of these programs by clicking the subscribe button below. Thank you guys so much and take care.
Bye, Damian. Lovely to see you.
Thank you, Damian.
Nice.